so welcome back. Today's video is kind of dramatic, but I like it. I wanted to do something very colorful and something that was very bright, and I wanted to do something purple as well. So with that in mind, I created this look that I'm wearing right now. I absolutely love the way this came out. I'm using another Colourpop eyeliner in the shade Crybaby. This was what I wanted to focus on in the video. It kind of gave me a very wide-eyed, open-eyed look, which I do like, especially when you're doing something kind of dramatic and smoky sometimes. Typically, you would probably put something dark in the waterline, which ends up closing off the eyes a little bit more, but this that helps keep them open, and I really like this. So I'm gonna actually try it as just liner, probably maybe tomorrow. But this look is very easy to do. It's a little bit more complicated with steps, a lot more blending, but even though there's more steps and more blending involved, don't feel like you cannot do a look like this, because I try to do tutorials that are easy. I try to explain them in the best way possible so that you can recreate every look that I do and feel comfortable wearing it. So I hope that you guys will enjoy this tutorial, and if you want to see how to get this look, then keep watching. To start off this look, I'm going to take the color called Smarty Pants from the Tartelette in Bloom palette. This is just a soft light tan, and it's matte, so you don't have to have this palette for this specific step, but just anything really light that will help with blending. Then I'm going to start by taking the Morphe S12 brush, which is like a crease brush. The color that I'm going to be using is the shade called Wisteria by Geek, and it's a matte, kind of bright purpley shade, like a lilac color. But this Morphe S12 brush that I'm using here, it's a crease brush. It's actually quite small in size, and it's more precise than something that's a little bit fluffier and just bigger, and the bristles are shorter on this one, so it's going to pack on quite a bit of color, which is why I chose it, because I want to make sure that the crease is pretty intense. So anything that's sort of short with densely packed bristles would work for this look and for the next couple steps. But I'm just taking Wisteria down first, all through the crease, and blending it up so that there aren't any harsh lines as it's going into my upper crease. Then I'm going to mix in another Geek shade. This is called Carnival, and it is another shade of purple. So it's two different types of purple. One is a little bit more like a lilac, and the other one is kind of like a pinky purple type shade, and that's the Carnival. And I'm just applying this right over the Wisteria, and I chose to have two different shades of light purple just to have some dimension with the look. Next, I'm taking the shade called Confection, also by Geek, and this is a light kind of dusty pink. It's very pale, and what I'm using is this shade to blend out any harsh lines above the Wisteria and the Carnival colors, just to make sure everything is nice and blended. Then I'm going to take the Colourpop gel liner in the shade Crybaby, which is a soft lilac color, and I'm running that in my waterline, and these actually wear really well, which I'm so impressed. Then with the Morphe 35B palette, I'm taking this really deep purple. It's kind of like a grape purple, and I'm using an angled liner brush that's going to give me more precise application, and I'm going to be applying this pretty thick and also very intense, so I'm packing on a lot of the color right under the Crybaby eyeliner that I applied, making sure that the dark purple meets up with that light purple, so there's not a gap between the liner and the eyeshadow, which sometimes if you're not careful you can kind of see maybe a little bit of your skin through the root of your lashes, so make sure that's all covered. And I know it looks harsh, but we're going to be blending it out very soon. Then with a Mikasa Beauty E310 pencil brush, I'm going to take this other purple from the same 35B Morphe palette, and this one is much more intense. It's kind of like a magenta pinky type color. It's really bold and very intense. The camera does not do it justice, but what I'm doing is blending out that darker grape tone of purple, so it's going to give you kind of like a smoky effect, but you're going to have like a really dark purple fading into like a pinky purple. So it's kind of like an ombre, very cool, looks so beautiful. I love these two tones of purple, and you can do this at home if you wanted to with two different shades of color, one that's dark and then several shades lighter, like two different tones, so that you get that ombre effect if you want. Otherwise you could just stick with one shade. You don't have to. It's just one less step you got to do. Then with that same brush and that same purple color, I'm going to start applying this to the crease. And I started with the pencil brush because it was going to help sort of apply the color exactly where I wanted it, which is on the outer V of the eye, and just kind of making sure that it connects from the outer V down to the lower lashes. That's why I'm doing that sort of swinging motion with my brush, which I've done that in so many tutorials, but I don't actually lift the brush off of my skin or off my eye, and I just sort of create that C shape. Then to intensify everything and make everything much more bold, I'm taking the Makeup Geek Outer V brush, which is very dense and will add a lot of color, and this is going to help intensify that outer V. And what I'm doing is just applying a little bit of color and blending it out, and a little bit more and blending. It took a long time, and I was doing this sort of step for a very long time, and in the end it's worth it because it's going to look more clean. It's going to look much more blended instead of just being sloppy and just throwing it on. So it's going to take some time and some practice, but again, I'm going back and forth between the outer V brush and the brush that I'm using right now, which is the Mikasa Beauty E310. It's a pencil brush. Those two brushes will definitely give you a very intense and bold outer V. So again, just adding and blending a little bit at a time because this color is so potent by this brand Morphe brushes. It's so intense, so a little bit goes a long way, and just sort of build it up. And of course you don't have to go as intense as I did. If that's what you prefer, something lighter, definitely go for it. And then of course going back in with some more blending, and I'm using that same Morphe S12 brush that I used at the beginning to apply the Wisteria and Carnival shades. And then of course more adding, more blending just to make sure everything is very perfected. And I do like to take my time with this. You may feel a little cramp in your wrist, but if you get to that point, then you're obviously doing something right. If you do some blending, you may see that some of the color is not as intense. So what I'm doing is taking that same Makeup Geek Outer V brush with the same dark purple, and I'm just sort of pressing it and patting right on the outer V and making sure that I'm not doing too much buffing motion because I want to make sure that I'm building up the intensity. So definitely packing that on very intensely, and then of course blending out the edges as I go because we've added more product. You want to make sure everything is really soft and not crazy. And then I'm going to take this shimmery champagne color from the 35B palette, and I'm going to apply that with the Sonia Kashuk eyeshadow brush to the inner half of the lid. It's going to add some bit of like a natural glowy effect to it, and this color is so freaking potent and pigmented. I don't even know why I don't use this palette more, but it is so great and so affordable, really great. And I'm using that same color for the brow bone highlight, and I also had it on in the inner corner as well, just to create some brightness in the eye and keep everything nice and open. Now for liner, I've chosen to do a liquid. This is the Tattoo Liner by Kat Von D, and I love it. It's in the shade Trooper, which is a nice black, and I went with a very thin line because I didn't want to do something super thick and dramatic that takes away from that color. I really wanted the purple to be the focal point. So with that in mind, I just kept the liner really thin, just following the natural shape of my eye, and just sort of making sure that my lash line looks really black and very intense, so that when I put my lashes on, which you will see here in a little bit, you won't see the actual strip of it. That's the whole point of the liner. Then for mascara, I'm mixing two different ones, the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara and the L'Oreal Carbon Black Voluminous mascara. And I start with the Too Faced one, then went in with the L'Oreal, and then now it's time for some lashes. These are the Kiss Ever Easy Lash Trios. These are so easy to apply. It's like individual clusters, but each cluster has a set of 3. So it's quicker to get it done, and I did 3 of the medium and 1 small, starting from the outer corner, blending in towards the inner part of the eye. And again, you just take that little trio, dip it into some glue, and boom, it's done. Now for the face, I'm using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer, and I'm applying that with a Real Techniques Multitask brush. I love this bronzer. It blends out so well, and because my skin is sort of somewhat peeling now, this really helps because it's a very creamy type bronzer. Even though it's a powder, it has that creaminess to it, and it's the perfect shade to give you that really beautiful sun-kissed bronze glow. And because my foundation is very light, I mixed the Naked Skin by Urban Decay with the L'Oreal Lumi Cushion. Those two are quite light, so in order to make it work, I definitely had to load up. So that's why I'm putting on a lot of bronzer. moving on to some blush. I'm using the LORAC blush. These are the buildable blushes in the shade Tinge. I'm applying this with a Sephora number 54 brush. These two are like top for me. I love this blush so much. I can't stop wearing it. I'm trying to switch it up. I'm really trying, you guys. I'm really putting in the effort to pick something else up, but I love it. It's so easy to use. And then for highlight, I'm using the the Skin Twinkle palette from Tarte Cosmetics. This is the Rainforest of the Sea collection. Using the pinky one to highlight. Love it. Amazing. Cannot get enough of this highlight. It is so incredibly pretty. So I'm applying this tops of the cheekbone, above the brow, you know, down the center of the nose, Cupid's bow. If I could put this all over my face, I would, but I don't think that would look good with my oiliness. So, you know, just highlight or don't, whatever you want. All right, for lips, I'm taking another favorite. This is the Essence Lip Liner in number 06 Satin Mauve. Lining my lips with this and filling it in, and that is all that I'm using for my lips. Like, this is such a pretty liner. It adds a little bit of a mauve tone to your lips. It goes with anything. You can use a nude with it. You can pair it with something a little bit deeper, something more pink, more peach. Like, it's the perfect color, and it's so pigmented, and I'm pretty sure I paid $1 for this at Ulta. It's so inexpensive, and I think they now sell Essence at Target as well. So just such a good color. I highly recommend these lip liners. And then here is the completed look with the eyes and the face. So pretty. Probably one of my most favorite looks that I've done so far this year. All right, there you have it. That's the whole look. I hope that you guys liked it. I love it. If you like purple, you may love this look. You can definitely substitute the purple for any color you want. You don't have to follow the same tutorial with the same tones of color. Just use whatever you've got, whatever color combo. You can do something, a different color on the lower lash line, hot pink in the crease, whatever you wanted to do, go for it. Experiment with color, and I hope that you guys will get inspired by my videos. I know that I've been challenging myself with my looks every time I do my makeup to incorporate color in some form or fashion, whether very soft or kind of blown out and dramatic like I did today, but I liked it. I think the lashes definitely helped bring the look together. You don't have to do that. You can do your own natural lashes or full strip. I love these trio lashes by Kiss. They're the Ever Easy lashes. They are so easy to apply, and I use these pretty frequently. I'm busted out my new one because I'm almost empty with this second pack. So I do love those, and I think that they are great. I will also list everything down below that I use for this tutorial, including my foundation, which I am using the L'Oreal Lumi Cushion. I mixed it with a little bit of my Urban Decay Naked Skin, and no powder today, so we'll see how this goes. And if you want to see the review on that L'Oreal Lumi Cushion video, I will link it down below and somewhere above my head here so that you can see what my thoughts are for that Lumi Cushion for oily combo skin. So thank you guys so much for spending some of your day with me today. I hope that you guys liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that button, show some support, and I love you all for tuning in, for subscribing, supporting me. It means more than you'll ever know. And if you'd also like to follow me on social media, I have Twitter, I have Instagram, and I also have Snapchat, where I'm on there pretty regularly. And if you want to see my shenanigans, then definitely tune in. Expand the description box. My username for Snapchat is there too. And I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.